I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the NYC with Jim Cramer. Jim, let's kick it off by going unfiltered. What's on the top of your mind?
The J&J situation, I didn't think that there could be asbestos in the talcum powder. We don't know. It could be a counterfeit lot. It could be some sort of cross-contamination. But I'm stunned. I have steadfastly believed the company when it said that there was no asbestos and couldn't be, and they changed their source. And I'm stunned, and the company has very little to say, and it's a different posture for me to be as critical, but this is very suboptimal.
This morning over on Real Money, you penned a column on the suboptimal situation for the Cloud Kings.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the big leaders of the market this year have been the software as a service companies. And here I'm talking about ServiceNow and Adobe, of course, Salesforce, Workday. There's my Cloud Kings. And there's been, each day, there's been something bad about them. Workday started things off with an analyst meeting where they talked about some difficulties in closing deals, so to speak, and how they have to move into the procurement spot. They have to, they want to move in. That's Coupa's area. And then we had an Adobe downgrade. A ServiceNow downgrade, both of which were, I'd say, sotto voce, that business has just gotten hard. And that is a compliment to what's been saying in cybersecurity, where CrowdStrike, some issues there about there's a Heather Bellini piece, very good, by Goldman, about whether the CrowdStrike's doing well. Put them all together and you just want to retreat to the United Healths of the world. That's what you want to do. I'm baffled. I mean, I have to go. I've done a lot of homework on American Express, but not enough, because one thing people have to realize, I'll be on TV when the conference calls are on. I've done my background beforehand on, say, a Coca-Cola, American Express, and I've made my own judgments, but I always say listen to the conference calls. So, I mean, to me, American Express, I liked all the lines. I liked their long-term vision. Unless they drop the bomb on the call, which I now have to look at, that might be a go-to. But again, not being on the call is a severe handicap, but I got to be on TV, and not much I can do.
In your column, you wrote about how the growth investment community is second-guessing the growth of the Cloud Kings. So why has Wall Street turned its back on Salesforce and Workday and others?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a genuine belief that enterprise spending is slowing. Now, if you listen to IBM, and I know that IBM is certainly not the paragon here because their quarter was disappointing, but there are whole countries where enterprise is slowing. You can bet that Brexit is weakened things. The trade wars even affected these companies. Salesforce, I believe, is doing well, but and Neil Bushry at Workday really did. It was troubling what he said, and I need a do-over. I need him to say, look, I said at one point that business has gotten a little bit tough, but nothing's changed, okay? And I got to rehear that nothing's changed. It's like the other day when I said to Larry Kudlow, is there really going to be, are we really going to see a step up in purchases? Are we really going to see the U.S., Mexico, Canada get together? And Carl Quintanilla said, I asked Carl Quintanilla why people were so skeptical, and he said, because he said it 1,000 times. So there's a lot of reasons to be skeptical about enterprise spending, and that's included now for the first time a Workday and Adobe. I mean, it's troubling. That group is a leadership group, and I've always said when they're down, buy them. We own Salesforce for Action Alerts. I'm standing by it.
All right, and Coca-Cola is our real money stock of the day after reported earnings this morning. Jim, does Coke's earnings show the strength of the consumer, or is it just a safety area?
No, not at all. Not at all. No correlation with the consumer. What it is correlated to is ingenuity. The small form factor cans has done very, very well. And what I think there's also been a much better marketing message for Coca-Cola. I think Quincy's done a very good job overseas taking market share. James is really remarkable. He's revived the brand. Diet sodas are coming back. They got double-digit growth, which I think is rather amazing. And I want to call attention to the fact that he's trying to be plastic neutral, that he's really making this serious effort to reduce plastic. You make it so it's all recycled. I shouldn't say reduced, but recycled. I mean, I have long asked him to be glass. he's got Topo Chico, which is this fabulous brand that he bought that we serve at Bar San Miguel.
My favorite.
It's so
brand.
good, and it's glass. But you're not going to put that genie back in the bottle. But I do think that his initiatives to be able to make it so that we have less plastic waste are real. They are not the term that that you hear now. They're not greenwashing. James is not greenwashing, and it's interesting. I was asked today which would I buy, PepsiCo or Coca-Cola. I would say own one of them. We own Pepsi, so we can't just go buy Coca-Cola because of diversification. Although in my conference call this week, I did say that diversification is no longer the free lunch that it was.
Guys, if you haven't tried Topo Chico, you really do need to. And for more on Coca-Cola and Jim's Real Money column this morning, head on over to realmoney.com. Jim, before we go,
people should. We're doing some really breakthrough stuff. Real Money's, a lot more people are reading it than were the year before. But there's some breakout stuff, and we're making some new improvements, and we're kind of proud. Now, I shouldn't say we're, because actually I have separated from the company, but I still file my blog, and when I say separate, I mean that I'm, as you were at the Night Badget, I now run Cramer Digital, and I've got a terrific CEO, and we're doing some great stuff, and I'm very proud of it, but I still write my Real Money column, like always.
Jim, I have to ask, looking at the general markets, all these investors, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are really concerned about China, but there's one other thing that they should be paying attention to, which is Brexit. Right. So why is Brexit a key to pay attention to in this
because
market?
UK, and particularly Germany, is really slowed. Now, Germany is levered to China, which is not good, and levered to spend in Europe, which is, I think, frozen because of Brexit. And I think that you got to go to Europe to recognize that no one knows what the exchange rate's going to be. No one knows what the duties are going to be, where it comes, where it doesn't come, where to bring stuff in. What does FedEx do? I mean, what does it's a mess. And what people need to do is get over the first 2 months of Brexit. So, this is going to be solved, one way or the other. There's going to be a 2-month period where there's just complete chaos. And then, even food might not be able to be delivered the way you expect. And then it'll be done. But everyone keeps forestalling it, I think largely because the first 2 months are going to be horrendous. And people aren't talking about that enough. It's not like they light a pen, it's like, boom, everything's fine. It's the opposite. The moment this thing goes into place, it's going to be horrendous. But I have to tell you, we should be talking more about Brexit because the was IBM call. I'll tell you why. People again chide me for Larry Kudlow for agreeing with Larry when he was on yesterday. But why is Caterpillar up with China numbers weak and with a downgrade? Why is Caterpillar stock up? And the answer is that there are many people who believe, as I do, that Larry Kudlow has something, that he knows something. Peter Navarro, a little silent right here. I have to do more work.
All right, Jim, and before we go,
IBM down again. That was bad. J&J, I would love to assure people I can't, given how little information they gave.
We're facing off this weekend, the Eagles versus the Cowboys.
Yeah, we are.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on that, and Wentz is in my fantasy, and I would say this. I would say that you don't have Amari Cooper. You don't have Cobb. Your offensive line is very damaged, but you are at home on a Sunday night. It's bad.
I'm really hoping that Dak really takes the lead with this one and that Jerry Jones comes in and really pumps him up because that's what we need. We really just need a win, but, the Eagles are looking good.
I was reading a book recently about football, and people always say we. And I always find it funny because, we ain't doing anything. But yes, I hope Mahomes gets better soon. He's an exciting player. Andy Reid, I think, is going to have to go more to a run game. I do think that that team is still a comer, even with more. I am really getting bullish on the Bills. Bills are comers.
And all this is to say,
McDermott's really gotten it together. Obviously, the Patriots, they're going to come out. We know that, but maybe Bills wild card. I don't know. How about the fact that the Niners are doing so well? I'm playing some Niners this weekend.
Guys, this is all to say we're going to have such an exciting show on Tuesday, especially after our teams match up. And with the Mahomes injury, we got to discuss what to do now. All of this Tuesday at 10:45 a.m. Head on over to bullmarketfantasy.com. We'll remind you on Monday in case you guys forgot. All right, Jim, thank you so much for joining.
You.
I'm Catherine Ross. If you're watching on on Facebook Live or on TheStreet.com, head on over to ActionAlertsPlus.com for our Action Alerts Plus daily show. See you guys on Monday.